Hi, my name is Becky Price. I'm a nurse navigator with Compass Oncology, and I'm on the programs committee with Pink Lemonade Project and also on the board of directors for Pink Lemonade. So we are working to streamline the process for all of you who help us with submitting applications for the for the three programs we have for financial aid. And hopefully this presentation will help to answer some of the main questions that you may have. I will say this more than once. If you have questions, we have resources for you to be able to contact us and be able to get more information. And the better that these applications come in, the more effectively we can help your patients. So we really enjoy having that interaction with you all as you get to know the programs better. And we also look forward to your input. So Pink Lemonade Project currently has three programs for which there is financial aid available. We are going to focus mainly on the first two that are listed here, Pink Practicalities and the Treatment Access Program. We'll go over Treatment Access Program first, and then Pink Practicalities. We'll do a little bit about Holiday Glow, but that is something that we will address at a later date when we're closer to those applications coming in. But you can reach all of the applications for these programs on the Pink Lemonade Project website, and that's listed for you. Even if you forget the website, if you go to Pink Lemonade Project, just Google it, you're going to get there. There is a drop down on the main page that will give you what you see here on the far right, that in kind of that purpley fuchsia color. So there are a lot of ways that we help people in Pink Lemonade Project with the financial assistance programs. If you click onto that, it will open it up and give you the programs that are available. Please note that Holiday Glow applications are not available on that drop-down list until the beginning of November, when we start taking applications for that. So there are criteria listed here. I encourage you to read through that in more detail. We are going to get into more of that. But one last thing about this particular slide is that do these applications online, please. There are old applications floating around in paper form. Sometimes patients have printed them off. And as we're going to get into in here, it is the way that we legitimize these applications is through you, through the nurse navigators, social workers, and other caretakers in the medical team doing the applications and certifying that this is correct information. We need this to be done by you guys with all that information available. And it's just so much better to do it online. Your patients will get help much more quickly and much more accurately. The next slide is just kind of the bottom half. We couldn't make it all fit into one. So it has more about the process, and that's all available on the web page. So if you want to get into this more, please do visit that website. So we're going to move on to more information about the Transportation Assistance Program in specifically. So this slide has that full application for Transportation Assistance Program. So this used to be owned by the Komen, but we picked it up when Komen had to centralize and they're now doing at things at a national level. So their local programs needed to be picked up by other people. And so there were a couple of programs that we were able to happily pick up, and Treatment Access Program was one of them. Excuse me. So the application, if you're familiar with it, it hasn't really changed much. Again, it's legitimized by being filled out by a member of the medical team, most likely a social worker or nurse navigator. If a patient brings it into you, please, like if they go, here's my application, you need to send it in. Please don't send in their paper application. Just put the form to the online version. That helps a lot. So there are some reminders here. Each disbursement of funds is up to $400. That would be if they have a kind of bigger family and a long way to go and have to stay overnight for more than one night. So it's not common for people to get that whole $400 in one in each time, but they can reapply for up to $800 yearly cap. That fiscal year is listed on the application. It is January 1st to December 31st. So it's pretty straightforward. But even if, what I'd like to point out here with the disbursements is that if you have somebody who only is able to get $100 or $200 for each application, you can keep applying if it makes sense with all the criteria until that $800 calendar year limit. So let's go on to the next one here. And really, we're just going to break this application down into a little bit smaller pieces. So what your patient will get if you apply and they are granted this financial assistance, so they'll get gift cards that are to help with gas and the lodging help if they're going to have to stay more than one night. And so one of the things that during COVID, like the beginnings of COVID, and when we first took this over from Komen, they had taken out one of the restrictions that had always been in place, which was that in order to qualify for this assistance, you have to be traveling more than 25 miles each direction. That's going to be on the next slide. Just to let you know, that's been put back in place. So we'll talk about some workarounds for that in a bit. But just if you go through the application line by line, it's pretty self-explanatory. They need to live in or be treated at a facility that is in the right area. And that's going to be listed on the next slide. But there is, if you look just right underneath this 2022 Treatment Access Program application, there's submission instructions for more details. And then you can always email or call for more information. And then there's right there the information for how to fax those completed requests or to email them in. It is important that you get all of this information in here. We do track how we're helping people, whether we're missing certain populations of people, we're not getting as many applications from maybe people of color or people who live in certain counties, so that we can go after that more appropriately, so that we're helping the widest range of people that we can. So please do get all of those in there. Again, if you actually work at an office where you're within the assistance range, then your patient can live outside of it as long as they're traveling into that one of those spaces. So even the cancer stage, if you're a clinical person and you're going, well, I don't know their stage yet because we haven't gotten everything done, just do the best you can with that. And know that people who have stage 4 disease sometimes are given priority if we are having kind of to choose. So on the next page, this is the middle of the application. This gives you a lot of information about how this works. So if you go under eligibility requirements, it'll say travel a minimum of 25 miles one way to treatment. So if it's 24.5 miles, please check the box. It counts. This is not meant to be really, really restrictive. Please don't lie to us. If it's 5 miles, they don't qualify. But just you can get it. 24 miles will work. Okay, so you want to be able to fill all of this out and then look at the eligibility requirements. Are they actively receiving breast cancer treatment? Actively receiving is, we're going to go over a little bit more, but in our next application. But this is basically, are they getting chemotherapy, radiation therapy? Have they had surgery recently? All of those types of things. Not they are 5 years out and are on endocrine therapy and getting follow-up. This is really aimed towards the people that are receiving active treatment right now. And then it gives you the list of the all of Oregon. So we cover the entire state of Oregon. It doesn't matter what county that you're in. If the patient lives in Oregon or is treated in Oregon, they meet that requirement. In Washington, we currently cover Clark County, Cowlitz County, Klickitat, Pacific, Skamania, and what I'm not going to say this right, Wahkiakum. Maybe I said it right. So those are the counties that if they live in or get treated in, that they qualify or at least meet that qualification. And then the next one being the 25 miles one way, not round trip. And then you just need to be able to ask them what level of income that they're at with how many people on their, it's basically like their tax forms. Not that you need to necessarily ask them for their tax forms, but how it would be there. So like if it was me, I have 3 children and a husband, so I'm a 5-person family. So my monthly income would have to be that $6,467 a month in order for me to be able to, or lower than that, to be able to qualify. So just using that, and you can circle where you're at with that. You do need to circle one so that we know, and they can do this without having to call you or even just toss the application. So again, the fiscal year is just the regular calendar year. The maximum per distribution is listed right there, 400 per distribution. You have to be kind of a bigger family and going a long ways to get that in one distribution. So somebody can get the bigger chunks twice and for that $800 a year, or it can be they get $100 each time for up to that $800. And just know that the funds, when the funds run out, we have to stop, but that the patients traveling longer distances are going to get given precedence. And then the last part of this application is just to be a reminder that you need to get consent from your patient, just verbal consent that you're going to send this information in, and the patient signature on there. You're doing this online, then you can actually just type in verbal consent provided. We will believe you. And then that you certify this, you want to get all of that in there. That is how we're making sure that these applications are for real. Hopefully that helps a little bit with that treatment access program. This is something that we are continuing to take over and make our own, but please, if you have any experience with it in the past or things that are coming up, we would like to hear back from you. Always, we are always looking to make things better. Okay, I'm going to take a drink of water and a deep breath, and we're going to move on to our next program, which is Pink Practicalities. Okay, so this is the whole application, which you will see online when you choose that in the drop-down menu. It is available January through November, and patients can receive up to about $800 per time that they apply. We keep this, the money for Pink Practicalities is completely separate than the money for the treatment access program, and also then for the Holiday Glow program that we're not going to talk much about, we'll touch on a little bit. So if your patient actually applies for TAP or treatment access program, they are still able to apply. You're still able to do an application for them for Pink Practicalities if they have these needs as well. So this is just the whole thing that's similar to TAP on the application, and it's pretty cut and dry on the treatment access program. That's the biggest difference, is that you check these points and then this is what they are able to get. There's more of a story behind what Pink Practicalities will cover and how to best get that filled out. So on the next slide, we're going to be in the top portion. Again, I'm sorry to beat a dead horse, but fill it all out. If we didn't have so many applications coming in that weren't all the way done, I wouldn't be beating that dead horse. So this whole portion in the top part, again, helps us to know if we're meeting the needs of all sorts of different people from different areas that we are trying to serve. And then I wanted to say another word here about stage. When people have stage 4 disease, then they don't really have a time that they're not in active treatment. So that helps to explain to our little subcommittee that goes over all of these applications every month. We arduously go through these as a group and make decisions. So let's say that somebody that you're applying for, their diagnosis year is 2019, and you're asking for help for them because they're in chemo, that won't jive unless they have stage 4 disease, or unless there's an explanation for that. So that's why this is really important that we get that whole story. Otherwise, we're going to either kick that application back to you for more information or just deny it. So plan treatment, check those boxes. If you're not sure yet, you can still say in the bottom there, you can type in to be determined, may need chemotherapy, or whatever is going on. The hospital or treatment center, as the case may be. I'm Compass Oncology nurse navigator, so I'd say Compass Oncology Vancouver, and the county where the treatment is being received. That helps us to make sure that we are meeting the criteria that we've set out. Okay, so the next part is this middle section. So the treatment matters. It informs the decisions that we are making. We get a lot of applications, and most of the time we're able to cover pretty much everybody that has an application that's reasonable. We have a lot of very wonderful donors, and we're very lucky. But when we have to make decisions about budget, the more of a picture you can paint in this needs description, I'm not looking for a 4-page essay, but just more of this is what's going on. It's costing $400 a month for their car payment, and they need that car to get to treatment. And they haven't worked a full time. They've had to go to part-time, just dollars and cents to make it make sense how much we can possibly try to give to them. If you say they've got a $200 electric bill and that's all you put on there, but they have all these other needs, we'll probably give them that $200 for the electric bill, but they may have something else that we've missed. So on the check marks for groceries, utilities, neuropathy treatment, things like that, these are the basic things that we're trying to help cover because we're trying not to overlap with existing programs. We are open to this other part, but you need to say what that is. And then in that description for the needs description, you need to tell us why we're a good fit for that and why that's a need. All of this eligibility, it's a little easier than the other one. Really, with TAP, there's this federal household income thing. With Pink Practicalities, we're trying to keep in mind that people who make a decent living or made a decent living last year might be in a totally different position now that they're not able to work their full schedule or that they've got more medical bills. So there isn't really a cap on how much money that they can make. It's more that we're trusting you guys to go, okay, this person's appropriate. There really is need. And then describing, I would put in a word here. We know we will look up whether this person has had treatment or whether they've received any other financial aid from us, but we do ask that that's put in there, that you keep track for your own records. It's helpful if you know, oh wait, this person keeps coming to me every other month, because you're so busy you may not realize that they're doing that. And then has the patient received other financial aid? This will not, don't leave this blank. If they get food stamps, or if they're getting a cut on their electricity bill or something like that, that actually makes us happy. That doesn't make us give people less. We want to make sure that people are really trying to get help from whatever resources are out there. And not just do one application to try to make everything float. We want to encourage people to go into many different directions. So don't feel like putting down they're on food stamps and they have TAMF and all that, whatever. Just put it down if you know. Then additional details and approximate costs. If there's anything that you didn't get in that needs description, please put it down here. So again, we have that different service area. So it's Clackamas, Multnomah, or Washington County in Oregon. So it's basically Portland Metro, and then Clark County, Washington. And again, that is in the same way as with TAP, just different counties. If they are treated in those areas, that counts. So if somebody lives in Hood River, but they're coming out to you for treatment, and you're in, Multnomah County. I think actually that might be, anyway, you understand what I mean. If they're outside of your area, but coming into treatment with you in your in area, then that counts. Okay. And then this check mark, you wouldn't be doing this if the person wasn't experiencing financial hardship during treatment or recovery. So make sure that you check that as long as it's true. Now, the little weirdness here is the distribution per fiscal year is January 1st through November 30th, and that the approximate limit per application is about $800. Sometimes we do go over that. Many times we go under that. If the need is under it, we will go under it. But if there's a very good indication that an extra $100 or $200 or $300 will help immensely, then we will consider that. And so yearly limits apply. Typically, we don't give people more than 2 applications a year that we will fulfill. So keep that in mind. But if there's still some major need or something is going on, you can apply again. We're just very unlikely to go forward with past 2. And the further apart those 2 requests can be, the better as far as getting that given. So we do have limited funds. We can't help everybody. And unfortunately, people who are just every single month having the same problems, it's hard for us to fulfill those needs, because that's not where we're trying to fill that gap. We're trying to fill short gaps that are to get them through so that they can get to where they're back on their feet again. So this last piece here is just the same as the others, where you're certifying that they meet the requirements. And I think this, yeah, we're making little edits to things. So if it doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. But this will be where you're going to verify that you've got this, and make sure we have your information to get in contact with you every single time. Put it on here. I do these applications a couple of times a month, and I'm on the board, and I still put my email and my phone number and all that stuff, because it's nice to have it right in front of you with the application. So the other program that we have is kind of a to be continued. Once it comes closer to that time, we're going to do another presentation to help people with the Holiday Glow one. That is something that the applications become available online in that same drop-down menu that you're already using for TAP and for Pink Practicalities. And early November is when that will start becoming available. We will email an information blast, and so you will get reminded about that if you're in the contacts list. If you're not in the contacts list, then please get yourself on it. If you're a social worker, nurse navigator, other similar positions. But this what I would like you to know is that Holiday Glow takes the place of Pink Practicalities during the month of December. So just to be aware of that. And hopefully that answers a lot of your questions. And hopefully we have a lot of applications continuing to come in. And we really appreciate all the work that you do for your patients and for the people that are participating with Pink Lemonade Project. We couldn't do it without you.